Hello and welcome, Pokefans. There are those who call me Bardbreaker, and it's time for another solo Pokemon Challenge run. Last week we were able to beat through Pokemon Emerald with just a single Cacnea, and that went pretty well until we ran into a huge wall with the final post-game fight against Steven. This week, mostly because my boss at work messed with my production routine by changing me off my normal schedule, we need to try a quick and easy one this week. Today we ask and answer the question, can I beat Pokemon Yellow using a team of only a single Mew? Okay, so yes, like I said, not much of a challenge, but again, I don't have time this week like I normally would, so I needed to get this one done pretty quick. Mew is a well-rounded Pokemon with an even 100 in all of its base stats, so no one area is going to be more powerful than the other, at least at the start. Though even in Gen 1, you can EV train, so to speak, and nudge your stats in a specific direction based off of the Pokemon you knock out. Attack-wise, Mew starts with Pound, which isn't particularly useful, and does get Transform early though. Until we get Mega Punch and Psychic though, nothing's too extraordinary here. TM-wise though, Mew of course can learn everything. That's one of Mew's gimmicks. Any TM that we can get to, we can teach to Mew, and that's our gimmick, so we can have a vast array of moves for the later part of the game. This really should make things a breeze. Like always at this point, I remind you guys that I'm going to write this as we go and I haven't actually started playing the game yet. So go ahead and make your guesses down below to please the almighty algorithm, god of the YouTube algorithm, and let me know if you think I can win or not. I definitely don't think it's going to be a question of if, but a question of how fast can I do it. Also, side note, I hope you guys liked the drawing of Algoris that was drawn by Stoic Steve. Thank you, Steve. As always, our rules. I can only use Mew in combat. While Mew can learn all the HMs, I'll still probably need other Pokemon for HMs, they just won't be allowed to be used in combat. I won't be using any items in battle, nor will I be using any cheats, glitches, or exploits. So let's begin. I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Pikachu with Mew. Our rival will still get an Eevee, but we won't know its final form again until we face him in a few battles. Saying of which, we take him on here in Oak's lab and pound him into the ground. Nothing really difficult. After completing Package Delivery Simulator for the umpteenth time, we begin our quest. And while doing some pre-rival 1A/Brock grinding here, we hit our first instance of the 1 in 256 glitch on this Rattata. This is a Gen 1 exclusive problem where, based on how the game determines accuracy, there's a 1 in 256 chance that any attack can miss, even 100% accurate ones. At level 12, we head west of Viridian City to take on Tim 1A, and it's an easy 2-shot sweep with Pound on both of his Pokemon. We don't even take a point of damage. This also now means that we know what the rival's Eevee is going to evolve into. Guess down below if you know which evolution we'll end up against later. On our way through Viridian Forest, we pick up a Pidgey for Fly later, nicknaming it Flapsity the 12th. Long may he fly. And we make it into Pewter City at level 16 from just some basic battling. We take on Brock right away, and it's straightforward enough on the Geodude. We just have to pound his sentient rock with arms into gravel. That really wasn't very difficult, but we also didn't really have a lot of options with our moves yet, so it's pretty much how we have to do it. We did hit a couple of crits though, which is nice. And in case it seems high, it's because in Gen 1, critical hits are determined off your base speed, and since ours is 100, our chance to crit with any given move is about 19.5%. So, pretty frequently. Once the Geodude is gone, it's time for Onix, and this is where I turn this into a battle of attrition. I decided to transform so I can copy Onix's Screech and bring its defense down. Unfortunately though, while we do land all 3 Screeches, it doesn't do much, as our tackles really aren't doing anything to the Onix. This battle ultimately just became a stalemate with us slowly whittling each other down, though thanks to my higher level and stats, I was able to weather things a bit more easily. Still, we nearly had to resort to struggle as we burned through all 5 Screeches, tackles, binds, and 3 or 4 of our bides before we were finally able to bring Brock down. How sad is it that Brock nearly beat a Mew in combat? Or maybe that he nearly beat an Onix in combat? I don't know, my head hurts, let's just move on. Along the way through Mount Moon, we find the TM for Water Gun, and we teach it to Mew to deal with the hikers. We also catch a Paris for Cut later, nicknaming it Snipticus the 12th. Long may he cut. Yes, I know I misspelled it. There's no backspace key in Gen 1, it's so dumb. We have 2 or 3 different moves for Double Team, but we can't put a backspace key on the keyboard. Whatever. I also took the Helix Fossil. I knew if I didn't say what I took, you'd all ask. Now that I think about it, ask anyway. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I also caught a Clefairy for Flash later, nicknamed it Flashelius the 12th, long may he shine, and made my way into Cerulean City. We decide to take on Misty right away, and we miss our first Mega Punch on Staryu, but Misty goes for an X-Defend. This allows her to follow up with a Water Gun since our second Mega Punch isn't enough to take it out. Fortunately, another Pound will do it in though. Starmie's out next and survives a Mega Punch to land a Bubble Beam which lowers our speed. She misses her tackle as we land another Mega Punch for the knockout. With that, we get the TM for Bubble Beam, and it's a quick replacement for Water Gun, and head on to Nugget Bridge. Rival 2 at the start of Nugget Bridge is a one-shot sweep. Mega Punch on the Spearow, Bubble Beam on the Sandslash, Pound on the Rattata, and a crit Mega Punch on the Eevee. We fight across the bridge and all the trainers afterwards, and we rescue Bill from the innards of his used Disneyland mascot costume and get the SS ticket for our troubles. We make our way to Vermilion City and onto the SSN, and Rival 3 is a super quick one-shot sweep with Body Slam that we picked up. We get past Lieutenant Surge's trash can puzzle on the second try, and it's time for the fight against Raichu. It survives Body Slam, but gets paralyzed, though it does break through and land a Thunderbolt. We have some fun with Metronome and actually charge up a Sky Attack to end the fight. We get the TM for Thunderbolt for our trouble, which we'll probably use later for the Elite Four. Rock Tunnel is a breeze between Flash so we can see and Bubble Beam to deal with the rocks, and we make it to Celadon City to immediately take on Erica, and it's a one-shot sweep with Psychic. Not really a surprise at all of our grass types are also poison type except Tangela. Also not a surprise is the defeat of Giovanni in the basement of Rocket Game Corner. Onyx and Rhyhorn go down to a Bubble Beam, while his Persian survives one to get off Payday, but that just means we get more money now that we win. Rival 4, or as you may know him from previous videos of mine, Tower Tim, is an easy one-shot sweep between Body Slam and Bubble Beam. Our high stats combined with our overall high level is making this chunk of the game pretty quick. I'm dubious if the Elite Four and Champion are going to be this easy though. They may be a spot of bother, we'll have to see. I decide to skip virtually all of Silphco and go straight for Rival 5-0. Sandslash goes down to a Bubble Beam, Ninetales is next and survives a Bubble Beam and uses Roar, a move that doesn't have any effect in trainer battles in Gen 1. Another Bubble Beam ends it. Cloyster is next, but a single Psychic takes it down. Kadabra is out next, but goes down in one Body Slam. Last out is Jolteon, who guessed that right down below, and survives Body Slam to miss a Pin Missile, and we take it out with another Body Slam. Probably one of the easiest Rival 5-0s you're going to ever see. We could have definitely one-shot that if we had been a couple levels higher, but we're really good as is. After Rival 5-0, it's time for Giovanni again. His Nidorino survives a Body Slam on a Sliver and lands a weak Poison Sting. We finish it with another Body Slam. His Persian is out next and goes down to a Body Slam. Rhyhorn is next and predictably goes down to a Bubble Beam. Nidoqueen is last and goes down in one Psychic. Also quick is Sabrina. Her team of Glass Cannon, Abracadabra, and Alakazam all go down in one Body Slam each. Alakazam actually survives on a Sliver, gets paralyzed, and Sabrina uses her turn using an X-Defend, allowing us an easy victory with really no resistance. We skip pretty much most of Cycling Road and get to Fuchsia City and immediately go for Koga. His team is a one-shot sweep with Psychic. I knew Mew was going to be fast and this run would just be a filler episode because I didn't have time to do a longer one, but I didn't think it would be this fast. We take care of the Safari Zone shenanigans and get down to Cinnabar Island to take on Blaine. I skipped all of his trainers as I really don't think I need the extra levels at this point. I'm pretty sure I've got enough to just coast the rest of the way. Start off against his Ninetales and surprisingly it somehow survived a super effective Surf, but it just goes for Tail Whip, so we take it down with another hit. His Rapidash is next, and it goes down to a crit Surf. Last out is his Arcanine, which survives Surf and goes for Flamethrower, which actually proved to be rather weak, and we survive it to finish it with another Surf. We fly back to Viridian, and I catch a Mankey for strength that we're going to need in Victory Road, nicknaming it Bicepticus the 12th. Long may he live. And we take on Giovanni for our final badge. Like most of the game, he too is a fast sweep. Dugtrio goes down on a Surf, Persian goes down to a Body Slam. Nidoqueen is out and hangs on from Surf just to miss Thunder. We finish it with another. Nidoking survives a Surf as well, and Giovanni uses a Guard Spec, so we finish it off pretty easily. His Rhydon is last, but goes down to a Surf. We're almost there, guys, and we're doing this pretty quick. Rival 6 on the way to the Pokemon League goes nearly as a one-shot sweep too. Jolteon is the only one that survives a move, but just like the last time we fought it, it tries for Pin Missile and misses, giving us an easy victory. As usual, the rock puzzles of Victory Road are nothing really to write home about, so we get an easy push through Victory Road and it's time to face the Elite Four. We're not super over-leveled at this point, but I think our moves and stats are going to carry us through. Make your guesses, though, if we have this. Ice Trainer Lorelei is first, and her Dugong survives a Psychic, prompting a Super Potion. Another Psychic ends it. Cloyster is next and survives a Psychic to get off an Aurora Beam before going down to a Body Slam. Slowbro is next and it survives a Body Slam to use Withdraw. And this is where it actually takes a few Body Slams because the Withdraw keeps raising its defense and then she heals it with a Super Potion. After a few withdrawals, we eventually take it down from a few Body Slams. Next out is Jinx, and it survives a Body Slam, but we take it out easy enough as well. Last out is her Lapras, which survives Psychic, but we get the special drop as it misses Hydro Pump. We finish it with a crit Psychic. I know that I could have used the TM for Thunderbolt going into that fight, but we've been coasting through this run. I didn't want to put a super effective move on there just yet. I wanted to see if we could get through it without it. We heal up after the fight and move on to Bruno. And yeah, he's almost not even worth mentioning. It's over nearly as fast as it began. Everything goes down in one hit from either Surf or Psychic. We ether up Psychic for Agatha and press on. Speaking of Agatha, she's also nearly a one-shot sweep. Psychic mows everything down in one shot until her last Gengar somehow survives and lands Confuse Ray. We then hit ourselves in confusion and she puts us to sleep and starts landing Dream Eaters. It's not super damaging, but sleep is pretty brutal in Gen 1 and it can last up to 7 turns. And since you can't attack on the turn you wake up, it's essentially 8 turns of doing nothing. Fortunately, we wake up on our second or third turn and are able to Psychic her down despite the heal she got off a Dream Eater. Now it's time for Lance. His Gyarados is first, and it survives a critical hit body slam to get off a passable Hyper Beam. We take it out with a second critical hit body slam. Next up is Dragonair, which also survives body slam and lands a Hyper Beam. We take it out with a second body slam as well. Another Dragonair is next, and this one actually falls to a crit body slam. Aerodactyl is out, and despite being one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, we outspeed it for a one-shot with Surf. Last out is his Dragonite, and this is what we were saving our Blizzard power points for, and we take it out with one. I elixir everything back up, and now it's time for our final battle with Tim. Sandslash is out first and goes down to an unnecessarily critical Surf. Alakazam is next and surprisingly survived a body slam and hits a critical but weak Psybeam. Another body slam finishes it off. Executor is next, and it survives a super effective Blizzard and gets off a 5-hit barrage before going down to another body slam. Cloyster is next, but a critical Psychic takes it out. Ninetales is next, and it survives a Surf, but just goes for Tail Whip. His Jolteon is last, and it survives Body Slam and once again goes for Pin Missile, which once again misses, allowing us to hit it for the victory. If you're wondering why Jolteon keeps using Pin Missile instead of Thunder, or, Thunderbolt, which would be more accurate, it's because Gen 1 AI is programmed to use moves that are super effective whenever possible. Since Pin Missile is a Bug-type attack, and Bug is super effective on Psychic, it's going to use that even if it has Thunderbolt at its disposal, which is more likely to hit and cause more damage. In any case, that's the run, folks. We get the Pink Rat into the Hall of Fame, and we just beat Pokemon Yellow with just a Mew. Again, I know that wasn't much of a challenge, but we needed something quick that I could squeeze in this week with my altered production routine thanks to work. In any event, guys, I hope you enjoyed at least getting to see Mew used when I know it would otherwise be event only, or you'd have to otherwise hack into the game, since you can never actually catch this guy legitimately in the games. So I hope you enjoyed it, if for no other reason than the novelty of getting to see a Mew. I know it was the first time I've ever used one. It was kind of fun. But there you go. I'm not sure what next week will be. I am going to be back on my regular schedule from work, so I will hopefully be doing a more difficult challenge that's not going to take me, a couple hours to finish like this one did. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and go catch 'em all.